What's good, guys? This is your boy CS back with another one. A quick one today. Not got a lot of time, so I'm just going to run through and see what we're seeing. So, bearish sentiment. We're going to start off with straight on the USDT. Okay, so from here, you could say that this is just a back test. That's 6.52% on the D and the C. And at the moment, the weekly hasn't closed, but if it can close anywhere near the EMA ribbons here, then that would just be seen as a back test. At the moment, it's not a bearish engulfing one because it's not engulfing this previous green candle last week. So if it was going to engulf it, that would be a bearish confirmation on the weekly signal anyway. Okay. The main bearish sentiment is that all we've done is just tag this blue channel, and we're going through this blue channel still. So right now, as of right now, this is the bottom. Like, this is the bearish bottom, and where bears single-handedly want to take out new fresh shorts because we are just traveling through this channel again. And really, their next target is 5.27%, 5.28%. That's the bearish target. Okay. So that's the bearish target gone. And then kind of one other thing just to interchange with that is that the CME gap is actually at 107.7k. Right now, Bitcoin has really, gone right above that into 108.5k. And from what I remember seeing just before, more so on the daily, we're taking out a lot of this liquidity. On the 7-day, they're still showing a lot more to come. But on the 1 day, I could see that the liquidation map, had just absolutely scorched earth. But on the actual heat map, let me refresh this from earlier on. That's taking out a lot of the yellow, the high liquidity. So whenever it's yellow, that's a very high liquidity. Now, a lot of shorts coming back in at 109k, 109.3. And listen, I'm not saying that this will happen, but that could take us to the next POC zone, which actually would form on the higher time frame. Let's go on a 3-day and let's go on a more simpler format. This is just another lower high, right? So we've got lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And then really this is the bit that we're trying to understand. Like, is this another lower low down here, or is this going to be a higher low? And that's where I'm looking at as to where we can get in. But that's the bearish sentiment. That's what I want to get out of the way very first and foremost. The bullish sentiment is looking at this from a weekly standpoint and the spider lines. This week, we've literally just pumped right through. As far as Bitcoin is concerned on the actual patterns itself, it's come back into this wedge pattern, and it is back testing numerous times since we've come over. We've used the 4-hour 20 EMA to our advantage. We have also reclaimed all EMAs, and including on the D and the C, we have, earlier on we had reclaimed all of them earlier on. Now, obviously, daily closes are important for me, especially on the tether dominance and the C dominance too. So we want to see how those end up. But generally, a really good week for Bitcoin. Like I said from last week, my prediction did come true, which was, look, the whole Iran-Israel stuff is just a smoke screen. And look what happened within a space of a couple of days. Prior to them having the ceasefire, everybody started getting back into the market. Now, we are back at greed, and that's where, again, another bearish sentiment is at. But the bullish sentiment is that we are, back testing a lot of the zones. Oh, sorry, one other bearish sentiment is that the lower low, lower high is that, forget this yellow trend line, but if we focus on this yellow trend line and this trend line, this maroon trend line, we could argue that this is just within the channel and we're just bouncing, and that we're now going to come down to around 96k, and we're going to have a real big capitulation event. So that could be on the cards, because I don't want us to ever forget what had happened when we got complacent previously. If you remember, we bounced, and everyone was convinced. The 5th of August, we all remember what happened. We shot all the way back down. And that is the exact same flag pattern that could be occurring right now. And similarly here, like when we thought we were going to go straight for all-time highs, and then we got straight down to 77. So I don't want us to get complacent here, because, you know, there is some bearish momentum building. Whether that continues, I can't really say for certain, but it is something to be wary about. Very much wary about. Okay, that's Bitcoin and the USDC and D's done and dusted. As far as Bitcoin dominance is concerned, this one we want a candlestick like that on a weekly, and right now we grazed the 66% level, literally grazed it, and from there we got a nice reaction, and that's what we're hoping for now. So if it is going to be alt season, this is the alt season here, 66.13 or 66.10. That is where we're going to see an alt season. If we don't see an alt season there, then the next bit we're going to be waiting for is up here at 71.3. That's my prediction. Again, if you bought alts, like I said, at around 66%, you're enjoying 2 days in red here, in green. Your altcoins have given you a nice breathing space of 30-40% cushions. Some coins have gone even more ballistic and done crazy numbers. But at the moment, today, Bitcoin is dominating. Alts are still doing generally okay. But we do need to be aware that some of the prime mover coins, like Fartcoin, is moving. It is moving, and it looks like it is breaking this wedge. But again, until we get candle confirmation closes, I will not make any drastic decisions. And also, I will not trade the breakout. I'll trade the back test of the breakout. Because if the back test comes back, so let's say, just as a learning material here, anyone who trades this, right, you're very susceptible to getting nuked all the way down here. This is the bit that I'd want to trade when it back tests. So patience is the game. And on the patience front, if this were to back test, then fantastic, then we can be on our way. But if this were to come through, this would be a fake out. Hence why I'm saying to you, be careful and set yourself up for success, not for failure. Okay, same with Popcat. Waiting for Popcat and Fartcoin to really be a prime mover coin here. The only coin that's really like done a crazy number is Pengu, like 30% yesterday and 17% the day before, is around a 47% move, right? So it's moving, it's doing crazy numbers, and if Pengu is a prime mover coin, then the rest of these alts are going to follow at some point. So that's a whistle stop tour that I just want to go through. Not, you know, I could spend much longer, but for this upcoming week, wait for the dominance at around the 66.12% level. Definitely good risk to reward ratio from there to long. And yeah, at the moment, wait for the weekly candles and the daily candles to close, because at the end of the day, we could argue there is a bearish sentiment. So if you took a short here, you wouldn't be wrong, because you've got all this to play for if you're playing the long game. If you did a tight stop loss out here with your altcoin or your Bitcoin trade, it's worth taking that shot. On the contrary, if we break out, back test, and then, you know, we're going to be on our way. That's another way of looking at it. All right, guys, that's it from me. I shall catch you in the next.